From March 2nd to March 26th, Venus transits Pisces, the sign of its exaltation. It's important to highlight that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which considers a roughly 24-degree variance from the tropical zodiac. This is one of the most refined and spiritually elevated placements Venus can occupy in the zodiac. Yet this transit does not occur in isolation. Venus will be conjunct Saturn in Pisces, the Sun will join them on March 15th, Jupiter, the ruler of Pisces, is retrograde and turns direct on March 11th, Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius until March 21st, Rahu and Mars are also in Aquarius, and a powerful lunar eclipse takes place in Leo on March 3rd. This combination makes the upcoming Venus transit deeply karmic, reflective and transformative rather than merely romantic or luxurious. Venus represents love, relationships, marriage, beauty, pleasures, wealth, art, harmony, and the things we value most. At its lowest expression, Venus seeks comfort and desire. At its highest expression, Venus represents devotion, compassion, and unconditional love. Pisces, being the last sign of the zodiac, dissolves boundaries and elevates material experiences into spiritual understanding. When Venus enters Pisces, love becomes less transactional and more transcendental. The desire for connection moves beyond surface attraction toward emotional and spiritual bonding. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces, its natural qualities are amplified. There is an increased longing for meaningful relationships, artistic inspiration, and emotional depth. Many people may feel more sensitive, intuitive, and empathetic during this period. Creativity flourishes, particularly in music, poetry, film, photography, and spiritual arts. Romantic ideals can intensify, and there is a strong desire to experience love that feels pure and unconditional. This exalted Venus is joined by Saturn, the planet of discipline, karma, and maturity. Saturn tempers Venus's romantic idealism with realism. It asks whether love is sustainable, whether values are practical, and whether commitments are genuine. While Venus in Pisces dreams of perfection, Saturn demands structure. The result is not denial but refinement. Relationships that are weak or based on illusion may feel strained, while those built on responsibility can deepen and stabilize. Financial decisions made during this period are best approached with long-term planning rather than impulsive indulgence. Jupiter is retrograde until March 11th, creating a period of introspection regarding beliefs, growth, and long-term direction. When the dispositor of Venus is retrograde, its energy turns inward. This means the first half of the transit may feel reflective rather than outwardly expansive. Questions about values, faith, and purpose may arise. After Jupiter turns direct, clarity improves. Decisions regarding relationships, finances, and creative pursuits gain stronger momentum. The second half of March carries more forward movement and confidence. Simultaneously, Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius until March 21st, and Rahu and Mars are also in Aquarius. This creates mental restlessness and potential communication misunderstandings. Emotions may feel heightened. Venus in Pisces acts as a balancing force amid this intensity. It encourages softer communication, forgiveness, and empathy. It also warns against unrealistic promises or escapism. With Mercury and Jupiter both retrograde at the beginning of the transit, this is a time to reflect on what love and security truly mean before making major commitments. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd adds emotional intensity. Eclipses bring endings, revelations, and karmic adjustments. Leo energy highlights ego, pride, and personal identity. As Venus moves through Pisces, this eclipse may expose where love has been influenced by ego or validation needs. It invites emotional release. This clearing process supports Venus's higher expression, helping relationships evolve beyond superficial attachment. On March 15th, the Sun enters Pisces and joins Venus and Saturn. The Sun represents identity, authority, and vitality. Its conjunction with Saturn and Venus may bring focus to responsibilities within relationships and finances. Ego clashes may surface temporarily, but this alignment ultimately strengthens maturity. It is a time to balance personal ambition with compassion and partnership. Financially, Venus exalted in Pisces can be supportive, especially for investments connected to creativity, healing, luxury goods, or spiritual enterprises. Yet Saturn advises caution and structured planning. This is not a period for reckless spending. Instead, it favors conscious investment in long-term comfort and stability. Spiritually, this transit is powerful. Pisces energy heightens intuition and compassion. Many may feel drawn toward meditation, charity, or artistic self-expression as a form of healing. Venus in Pisces teaches that true wealth is emotional fulfillment and inner peace. Overall, this Venus transit is not simply about romance or pleasure. It is about refining what we value. It asks whether love is rooted in fantasy or truth, whether finances reflect long-term wisdom, and whether creativity serves a deeper purpose. The early part of the transit encourages introspection due to retrogrades and eclipse energy. The latter part, after Jupiter and Mercury turn direct, supports clearer decisions and steady progress. Venus represents love and activities that bring joy. As Venus transits through different houses for approximately 25 days, it signifies an increased inclination towards activities associated with that specific house. The final outcomes may vary based on the dignity of Venus in the birth chart, but the common thread is an affinity towards engagements related to the house Venus is currently transiting. Venus primarily influences the Moon and Mercury and is relatively susceptible to the influence of malefic planets such as the Sun, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Maha-Dasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Venus's Ashtaka score in Pisces. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Venus's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Venus Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Venus rules the second house of wealth, family, speech and accumulated resources, and the seventh house of marriage, partnerships and public dealings. When Venus moves into Pisces, your 12th house, and becomes exalted there, the results deserve careful attention. This is not a superficial transit. It is subtle, karmic and spiritually elevated. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces, its highest qualities are awakened. And since Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, the condition of Jupiter becomes central to understanding the full impact of this transit. The 12th house represents foreign lands, isolation, spiritual retreats, expenses, charity, sleep, subconscious patterns and liberation. It also shows private pleasures and life behind closed doors. When the ruler of your second and seventh houses moves into this space in exaltation, it indicates that themes of wealth and relationships are being redirected toward deeper, more refined expressions rather than purely material or outward ones. Financially, this can be a surprisingly supportive period, even though Venus is in the 12th house of expenses. Because Venus is exalted, expenses may turn into meaningful investments. You may spend on travel, spiritual growth, healing, luxury experiences, or improving quality of life. Rather than wasteful spending, this transit encourages conscious expenditure. Some Aries individuals may see financial gains through foreign clients, overseas connections, or work done in private settings. Since Venus rules your second house, accumulated wealth may be redirected toward long-term security or spiritual fulfillment. Saturn's conjunction with Venus ensures that you do not act recklessly. It imposes discipline and maturity in financial decisions, helping you build stability quietly. In relationships, this transit can bring a deepening of emotional and spiritual bonds. As ruler of the 7th house exalted in the 12th, Venus can indicate a partner who is compassionate, spiritual, or connected to foreign lands. Married Aries individuals may experience a more private, intimate phase in their relationship. There can be healing conversations and forgiveness of past grievances. Because Saturn is conjunct Venus in Pisces, relationships are tested but in a constructive way. Saturn does not deny, it refines. It asks whether your partnership is built on truth and shared responsibility. If the foundation is strong, this period can solidify commitment and long-term planning. The Sun joining Venus and Saturn in Pisces after March 15th adds another layer. The Sun rules your 5th house of romance, creativity and children. Its conjunction with exalted Venus in the 12th house can increase romantic sensitivity and emotional awareness. Some Aries individuals may revisit old romantic memories or reconnect with someone from the past. Saturn's presence ensures that fantasies are balanced with realism. This is not a time for reckless emotional decisions. Instead, it is a period for mature love, compassion, and understanding. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th plays a crucial background role. Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is transiting. When the dispositor of a planet is retrograde, it internalizes its energy. For Aries individuals, Jupiter rules the 9th and 12th houses. Its retrograde motion suggests that faith, belief systems, and long-distance plans are under review. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity gradually returns. This shift supports Venus's transit because the ruler of Pisces regains forward momentum. After mid-March, decisions related to foreign travel, spiritual pursuits, and higher learning become clearer and more confident. The simultaneous retrograde of Jupiter and Mercury during the early part of this transit creates a reflective atmosphere. Mercury rules your 3rd and 6th houses and is retrograde in Aquarius for much of this period. This may initially create confusion in communication or planning. Because Venus is exalted, emotional intelligence compensates for intellectual uncertainty. You may feel guided by intuition rather than logic. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, misunderstandings ease and conversations become smoother, especially in partnerships and professional agreements. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children. Eclipses bring emotional release and karmic shifts. For Aries individuals, this eclipse may close a chapter related to a love affair, creative project, or expectations around children. When combined with Venus exalted in the 12th house, the eclipse may help you release ego-driven romantic patterns. You may realize that love cannot be controlled or dramatized. Instead, it must be nurtured quietly and selflessly. This realization becomes a strength rather than a loss. Spiritually, this is one of the most enriching periods of the year for Aries individuals. Venus in the 12th house supports meditation, artistic inspiration, and charitable acts. You may feel drawn to spiritual music, poetry, or healing practices. Saturn ensures discipline in these pursuits, helping you build a routine rather than chasing temporary inspiration. This combination can bring profound emotional maturity. Professionally, although Venus is not directly in your career house, its rulership of the 7th house affects business partnerships. Quiet negotiations or behind-the-scenes collaborations may prove beneficial. Some Aries individuals working with foreign companies or multinational environments may see subtle growth. Jupiter turning direct enhances networking and communication in the second half of March. Overall, this transit encourages Aries individuals to shift from impulsive, outward action to reflective and compassionate growth. Instead of aggressive pursuit, you are guided toward graceful alignment. Financially stable, emotionally wiser, and spiritually grounded, you may discover that true strength lies not in domination but in understanding. Venus exalted in your 12th house does not remove material success, it refines it. It teaches that wealth and love are most powerful when guided by higher purpose. For Taurus, Venus is the most important planet in the chart. It rules the 1st house of self, personality, vitality, and life direction, and also the 6th house of work, service, competition, health, and daily responsibilities. When your 1st house lord moves into Pisces, the 11th house, and becomes exalted there, this is a powerful and supportive transit. The 11th house represents gains, fulfillment of desires, networks, social circles, recognition, and long-term ambitions. An exalted 1st house lord in the house of gains is naturally a promising combination, especially when we carefully examine the wider planetary context. Venus in Pisces expresses its highest qualities. In your case, this exaltation directly strengthens your confidence, personal magnetism, and social appeal. You may feel more emotionally open, compassionate, and inspired. Others are likely to respond positively to you. Because the 11th house rules networks and associations, this period can expand your social influence. New friendships may form, particularly with artistic, spiritual, or refined individuals. Some of these connections can prove beneficial in the long term. Financially, this transit carries strong potential. The 11th house is the primary house of income and gains. When the 1st house lord is exalted here, it enhances opportunities to increase earnings. Gains may come through collaborative efforts, group projects, or professional networks. Since Venus also rules your 6th house, which rules employment and service, this transit can indicate improvement in workplace conditions or financial rewards for consistent effort. You may receive appreciation, bonuses, or recognition for past dedication. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds stability. Rather than quick or speculative gains, the benefits during this period are likely to be structured and long-lasting. Saturn's presence in the 11th house with Venus is particularly important. Saturn brings discipline, responsibility, and long-term planning. While it may slow the pace of immediate rewards, it strengthens the foundation of your ambitions. This is an excellent time to define realistic long-term goals. If you have been working steadily toward a professional milestone, Saturn ensures that progress, though gradual, is meaningful. Venus softens Saturn's severity, allowing discipline to coexist with creativity and diplomacy. Relationships within professional networks may become more serious and purposeful. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, themes of leadership and visibility increase. The Sun rules your 4th house of home, emotional security, and property. Its conjunction in the 11th house can bring focus to balancing domestic responsibilities with social or professional expansion. Some Taurus individuals may gain through real estate, family support, or property-related matters. There can be a sense of pride in accomplishments. Jupiter's retrograde motion in Gemini until March 11th plays a significant role because Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Taurus, Jupiter rules the 8th and 11th houses. Its retrograde phase suggests internal reassessment of financial structures, shared resources, and long-term ambitions. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity begins to emerge in income matters. Plans that felt uncertain earlier in the month start moving forward. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its direct motion strengthens Venus's ability to deliver gains and fulfillment. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during much of this period adds another layer. Mercury rules your 2nd and 5th houses, governing wealth, speech, intelligence, children, and creativity. Its retrograde motion may initially create delays in communication or financial planning. Because Venus is exalted and strong, you are protected from major instability. Instead, this period allows you to rethink financial strategies and creative projects. After Mercury turns direct on March 21st, agreements, investments, and communications become smoother. The earlier reflection phase proves useful, preventing impulsive decisions. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 4th house of home, mother, and emotional foundations. Eclipses often bring emotional revelations. For Taurus individuals, this eclipse may highlight family dynamics or property matters that require closure or adjustment. When combined with exalted Venus in the 11th house, it suggests that resolving domestic concerns can free you to pursue broader ambitions. Emotional release in private life creates space for growth in social and professional spheres. You may find that friends or networks provide support during this time of inner transition. Because Venus rules your 6th house, health and daily routines also improve under this transit. The 11th house placement suggests recovery from past stress. Supportive colleagues or mentors may help you manage responsibilities more efficiently. Saturn ensures disciplined habits, and Venus encourages balance and self-care. This is a good period to establish healthier work routines that enhance productivity without exhaustion. On a personal level, exalted Venus in the 11th house increases charm and attractiveness. You may feel more comfortable expressing your ideas within group settings. Romantic opportunities can arise through friends or professional networks. If you are already in a relationship, your partner may support your ambitions and social engagements. The energy is cooperative rather than confrontational. Spiritually, Pisces energy in the 11th house can expand your vision for the future. You may feel inspired to contribute to humanitarian or charitable causes. Long-term dreams may shift toward more meaningful objectives rather than purely material targets. Saturn ensures that these ideals are implemented practically. Overall, this Venus transit is one of the more beneficial periods for Taurus people in 2026. With your 1st house lord exalted in the house of gains, supported by Jupiter turning direct and stabilized by Saturn, the potential for steady progress is strong. Early March may feel reflective due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but by the second half of the month, momentum builds. Financial growth, strengthened networks, improved workplace harmony, and clearer long-term direction are all highlighted. The key is patience and strategic action. For Gemini, Venus rules two very sensitive and creative houses, the 5th house of love, romance, creativity, intelligence and children, and the 12th house of foreign lands, spirituality, imagination, expenses and liberation. When such a Venus moves into Pisces, your 10th house of career, reputation, authority and public life, and becomes exalted there, the transit becomes highly significant. The 10th house is the most visible house in the chart. It rules status, achievements, recognition and your overall contribution to society. When Venus is exalted here, your professional image softens and becomes more attractive. You may appear more diplomatic, refined and artistically inclined in your career. If you are involved in creative fields such as media, design, entertainment, fashion, music, hospitality or counseling, this can be an especially supportive period. Even if you work in a corporate or analytical field, your ability to build relationships and handle people tactfully increases. Because Venus also rules your 5th house, creativity plays a direct role in career growth during this transit. You may find that ideas you have been nurturing internally begin to gain public appreciation. Projects related to writing, speaking, marketing or artistic expression can receive attention. If you are seeking recognition or promotion, exalted Venus in the 10th can enhance your public appeal. Others may see you as cooperative and pleasant to work with. Venus ruling the 12th house and moving into the 10th can also bring professional connections with foreign lands or multinational environments. Some Gemini individuals may collaborate with overseas clients or organizations. Others may work behind the scenes on high-profile projects. The 12th house connection suggests that part of your success during this period comes from subtle preparation rather than loud announcement. Quiet efforts may lead to visible rewards. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds depth and seriousness to this otherwise graceful placement. Saturn in the 10th house naturally emphasizes responsibility and long-term effort. When joined with exalted Venus, it ensures that professional growth is not superficial. You may be given more responsibilities or leadership roles. While this may initially feel demanding, it ultimately strengthens your reputation. Saturn stabilizes Venus's creativity, helping you turn inspiration into structured achievement. Professional relationships become more formal and mature, but also more reliable. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in the 10th house, visibility increases further. The Sun represents authority, recognition, and leadership. For Gemini individuals, the Sun rules the 3rd house of communication, skills, and initiative. Its conjunction in the 10th house enhances courage in professional matters. You may feel more confident presenting your ideas or stepping into a leadership position. The combination of Sun, Saturn, and exalted Venus suggests disciplined leadership with charm and empathy. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is especially important because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Gemini individuals, Jupiter rules the 7th and 10th houses. Its retrograde motion in your 1st house indicates internal reassessment of partnerships and career direction. You may have been reflecting deeply on your identity and long-term professional path. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity begins to return. Decisions that felt uncertain earlier in the month gain direction. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus in Pisces, its direct motion strengthens the positive outcomes of this transit. Professional partnerships can move forward with greater confidence after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury, your 1st house lord, in Aquarius during much of this period adds another thoughtful layer. Mercury rules your 1st and 4th houses and rules your mind and decision-making. While retrograde, you may feel introspective or slightly cautious in communication. This can actually work in your favor. Instead of making impulsive professional decisions, you are more likely to review contracts, reconsider strategies, and refine plans. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, your confidence and clarity increase significantly. Conversations regarding promotions, collaborations, or new projects become smoother. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 3rd house of communication, courage, and initiatives. Eclipses often bring closure or revelation. For Gemini individuals, this eclipse may highlight the need to change the way you express yourself or handle short-term goals. You may release outdated communication patterns or competitive attitudes. This emotional adjustment prepares you for the refined, diplomatic tone required in your career during the Venus transit. In a positive sense, the eclipse can strengthen your voice and confidence. Romantically, Venus ruling your 5th house and exalted in the 10th can create attraction through professional environments. A romantic connection may develop at the workplace or through career-related interactions. If you are already in a relationship, your partner may feel proud of your achievements. The 12th house rulership also suggests emotional depth and private bonding behind public success. Financially, this is a constructive phase. The 10th house relates to income through profession. With Venus exalted and Jupiter turning direct, opportunities for financial growth appear, particularly after mid-March. Saturn ensures that gains come through disciplined effort rather than speculation. Spiritually, this transit blends ambition with compassion. You may begin to see your career not just as a source of income, but as a platform for meaningful contribution. Pisces energy in the 10th house encourages work aligned with higher values. Saturn ensures you take responsibility for that vision. Overall, this Venus transit is a powerful period for Gemini individuals. Despite early March retrogrades and the eclipse creating reflection, the second half of the month brings clarity and progress. Professional recognition, creative expression, and partnership growth are highlighted. With Venus exalted in your 10th house and supported by Jupiter's direct motion, this is a time to present your best self to the world with confidence and grace. For Cancer, Venus rules the 4th house of home, emotional security, property, comforts and mother, and the 11th house of gains, networks, ambitions and fulfillment of desires. When such a Venus moves into Pisces, your 9th house, and becomes exalted there, the transit carries strong promise. The 9th house is the house of fortune, higher wisdom, long-distance travel, blessings from mentors and divine grace. An exalted Venus in the 9th creates a refined and auspicious atmosphere, especially when analyzed along with the larger planetary picture unfolding in March 2026. The 9th house is considered one of the most fortunate houses in the chart. It represents dharma, belief systems, and the protection one receives through past karmas. When the ruler of your 4th and 11th houses is exalted here, it forms a harmonious connection between emotional stability, gains, and higher purpose. This suggests that both domestic life and long-term ambitions receive subtle support from fortune during this period. Venus exalted in Pisces expresses unconditional love, compassion, and refined creativity. For Cancer individuals, this can bring emotional healing and renewed optimism. You may feel more spiritually inclined, drawn toward pilgrimage, study of philosophy, or meaningful travel. Some may plan journeys connected to family or education. Because Venus rules the 4th house, there can be improvements related to property, relocation for positive reasons, or beautifying the home environment. Emotional peace increases as you align your personal life with your broader vision. Financially, this is encouraging. The 11th house lord exalted in the 9th suggests gains through fortunate circumstances. Opportunities may arise through mentors, international contacts, higher education, or spiritual communities. Networks may expand beyond your usual circle. You could benefit from someone older or more experienced offering guidance. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds seriousness and durability to these gains. While progress may not be instant, it is steady and reliable. Saturn ensures that financial improvements are built on discipline rather than luck alone. Saturn's presence in the 9th house also encourages maturity in belief systems. You may reevaluate your philosophy of life and adopt a more practical spirituality. Rather than blind faith, you develop structured understanding. This alignment between exalted Venus and Saturn can bring a refined sense of responsibility toward family and long-term goals. If you have been considering higher studies or expanding your professional qualifications, this transit supports long-term planning. On March 15th, the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces. The Sun rules your 2nd house of wealth, speech, and family values. Its conjunction in the 9th house strengthens themes of financial growth connected to knowledge and travel. You may feel motivated to invest in education, spiritual retreats, or expanding business to distant markets. Family discussions about future plans may become more prominent. The Sun's energy adds confidence and leadership to your outlook. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is highly relevant because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Cancer individuals, Jupiter rules the 6th and 9th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 12th house indicates inner reflection and subconscious reassessment. You may have been processing unresolved concerns related to work, health, or long-term direction. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity emerges. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus in Pisces, its forward motion strengthens the positive outcomes of this transit. Plans regarding travel, education, or legal matters gain momentum after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds an introspective tone. Mercury rules your 3rd and 12th houses. While retrograde, you may feel cautious about communication or travel planning. This reflection prevents careless decisions. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, conversations with mentors, advisors, or distant contacts become clearer and more productive. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 2nd house of finances and family. Eclipses bring emotional release and closure. For Cancer individuals, this eclipse may highlight outdated financial habits or family patterns that need adjustment. You may release fears around security or self-worth. With exalted Venus in the 9th house, this emotional clearing opens space for growth. The eclipse can ultimately strengthen your confidence in building wealth aligned with your values. In relationships, Venus ruling your 4th house and exalted in the 9th suggests emotional bonds strengthened through shared beliefs. Couples may plan travel together or explore spiritual practices as a pair. If single, you may meet someone through academic, spiritual, or international settings. The connection may feel meaningful rather than casual. Saturn's involvement ensures seriousness and maturity in romantic matters. Professionally, although Venus is not directly in your career house, the 9th house placement supports long-term advancement. You may gain recognition through teaching, publishing, counseling, or advisory roles. Your guidance may be valued by others. Networks connected to foreign or educational institutions may bring opportunities. Spiritually, this transit is especially rich. Venus exalted in the 9th house encourages devotion, compassion, and artistic inspiration linked to philosophy. You may feel inspired to contribute to charitable causes or mentor others. Saturn ensures that spiritual insights are grounded in real-life application. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is highly favorable for Cancer individuals. Despite early March retrogrades and the eclipse creating reflection, the second half of the month brings forward movement and clarity. Gains align with higher purpose, emotional peace improves, and long-term plans gain structure. With Venus exalted in your house of fortune and supported by Jupiter's direct motion, this is a period of subtle but meaningful blessing. For Leo, Venus rules 2 important areas of life: the 3rd house of courage, communication, skills, and self-effort, and the 10th house of career, authority, reputation, and professional achievement. When such a Venus moves into Pisces, your 8th house, and becomes exalted there, the results require depth of understanding. The 8th house is often associated with transformation, hidden resources, research, inheritance, joint finances, and psychological renewal. While traditionally intense, the presence of an exalted Venus here changes the tone significantly. It is a transformative and empowering period, especially when viewed alongside the wider planetary dynamics of March 2026. Venus exalted in Pisces expresses its most refined qualities: compassion, emotional depth, creativity, and spiritual grace. For Leo individuals, this transit links career and personal initiative with deep internal change. The 8th house is the house of hidden strength. When the 10th Lord becomes exalted here, it can indicate behind-the-scenes professional development that later produces visible rewards. You may work quietly on important projects, restructure business strategies, or rethink long-term career plans. This is a powerful period for strategic planning rather than public display. Financially, the 8th house rules shared resources, investments, taxes, insurance, and inheritances. With Venus exalted here, there can be positive developments in joint finances. Married Leo individuals may experience improved financial coordination with their spouse. Others may benefit from partnership ventures, commissions, or research-based income. Because Venus rules your 10th house, career income may come through collaborative arrangements rather than independent action. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces ensures discipline and caution in financial matters. Rather than speculative risk, this period supports structured long-term planning. Saturn's presence in the 8th house with exalted Venus deepens maturity. Saturn in this house often brings lessons related to vulnerability and trust. When joined with a strong Venus, it allows emotional resilience to develop. You may confront fears around loss, control, or uncertainty and emerge stronger. Professionally, Saturn ensures that any transformation you undergo now will create stability later. You may take on responsibilities that require confidentiality or research expertise. This is an excellent period for those working in psychology, finance, investigation, healing professions, or spiritual counseling. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, the intensity increases but in a constructive way. The Sun rules your first house, representing identity and vitality. Its movement into the 8th house can bring introspection and self-renewal. Combined with exalted Venus, this period encourages you to redefine how you approach power and authority. Instead of dominating situations, you may adopt a more strategic and empathetic leadership style. This inner transformation ultimately strengthens your public image once the Sun moves forward. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th plays a key background role because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Leo individuals, Jupiter rules the 5th and 8th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 11th house suggests reflection on long-term ambitions and social networks. You may reassess who truly supports your growth. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity returns regarding friendships, alliances, and future goals. Since Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus in Pisces, its direct motion strengthens Venus's ability to deliver positive outcomes. Gains connected to research, creative ventures, or strategic partnerships become more visible after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds a reflective tone in relationships and contracts. Mercury rules your 2nd and 11th houses, governing finances, speech, and networks. While retrograde, financial negotiations or group discussions may require extra patience. This reflection helps prevent miscalculations. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, agreements move forward with greater clarity. Because Venus is exalted, you are protected from major instability during this period of review. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd is particularly significant because it occurs in your first house. Eclipses in the first house bring identity shifts and emotional release. You may feel temporarily unsettled or introspective. Old self-images may dissolve. This eclipse works in harmony with Venus exalted in the 8th house. Both indicate transformation rather than loss. You are shedding outdated versions of yourself to step into deeper authenticity. The eclipse can heighten emotional awareness, but Venus provides grace and support. Romantically, this transit can deepen intimacy. Venus in the 8th house strengthens emotional bonding and private connection. Married Leo individuals may experience renewed closeness with their partner. Singles may attract someone intense and emotionally mature. Saturn's involvement suggests seriousness rather than fleeting romance. Relationships formed or strengthened during this time can be profound and transformative. Professionally, although external recognition may not be immediate, strategic groundwork laid now can lead to significant advancement later in the year. You may refine business plans, restructure finances, or engage in confidential negotiations. The 3rd house rulership of Venus also enhances research, writing, and communication skills, particularly in subjects requiring depth. Spiritually, this transit encourages inner growth. Pisces energy in the 8th house opens interest in metaphysical studies, healing practices, and psychological understanding. You may feel drawn toward meditation or therapy to process deeper emotions. Overall, this Venus transit is transformative yet supportive for Leo individuals. Despite the early March eclipse and retrogrades creating introspection, the second half of the month brings steadiness as Jupiter turns direct. With Venus exalted in your 8th house, emotional maturity, financial restructuring, and strategic career growth are highlighted. This is a period of inner empowerment that quietly prepares you for stronger public success ahead. For Virgo, Venus rules 2 highly auspicious houses, the 2nd house of wealth, family, speech, and accumulated resources, and the 9th house of fortune, higher wisdom, blessings, and long-distance travel. When such a Venus transits Pisces, your 7th house, and becomes exalted there, this creates a powerful and largely favorable configuration. The 7th house represents marriage, partnerships, contracts, public dealings, and visibility in the outer world. An exalted 9th lord placed in the 7th house forms a strong dharmic connection, linking fortune and prosperity directly to relationships and alliances. When we analyze this alongside the broader planetary movements of March 2026, the depth of this transit becomes even clearer. Venus in Pisces expresses unconditional love, grace, refinement, and compassion. For Virgo individuals, this transit strongly activates partnership matters in a positive way. If you are unmarried, this is one of the more supportive periods for meeting someone meaningful. Because Venus rules your 9th house of destiny, a relationship formed now may feel fated or guided by circumstance. Encounters may happen through travel, education, spiritual communities, or professional networks. There is an element of grace and synchronicity around partnerships during this period. For those already married or in committed relationships, this transit can bring renewed harmony. Emotional understanding deepens. Conversations become softer and more empathetic. The exalted status of Venus suggests that love is expressed with generosity and maturity. Because Venus also rules your second house, family life benefits as well. Financial stability within the marriage can improve. Couples may make plans regarding savings, investments, or long-term security. Saturn's conjunction with Venus and Pisces adds seriousness and commitment to this otherwise romantic configuration. Saturn in the 7th house often delays but does not deny partnership stability. With exalted Venus, Saturn's influence becomes constructive rather than restrictive. It encourages responsibility and long-term thinking in relationships. If there were misunderstandings in recent months, this period offers a chance to rebuild trust slowly and realistically. Partnerships formed now are unlikely to be superficial. They carry weight and maturity. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, themes of visibility and partnership gain further emphasis. The Sun rules your 12th house of foreign lands, isolation, and spiritual retreat. Its entry into the 7th house can bring foreign connections or partners from distant backgrounds. Professional contracts involving international collaboration may also emerge. While the Sun can sometimes create ego sensitivity in partnerships, Saturn's grounding influence ensures that discussions remain practical. The focus shifts toward shared responsibility rather than personal pride. But Sun and Saturn together can bring stress in relationships, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th plays a critical background role because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Virgo individuals, Jupiter rules the 4th and 7th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 10th house suggests reflection on career and public responsibilities. You may have been reassessing how your professional life affects your relationships. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity emerges. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its forward motion strengthens the positive outcomes. Professional partnerships can move forward with greater confidence after mid-March, and marital stability may feel more secure. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury, your sign lord, in Aquarius during early March adds an introspective tone. Mercury rules your 1st and 10th houses, governing identity and career. While retrograde, you may feel reflective about your personal direction. Communication in professional matters may require patience. This review phase prevents impulsive decisions. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, clarity and confidence return. Discussions with partners, both personal and professional, become smoother and more decisive. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 12th house of subconscious patterns, endings, and spiritual release. Eclipses often bring emotional revelations. For Virgo individuals, this eclipse may highlight hidden fears or unresolved emotional baggage connected to past relationships. The good news is that with exalted Venus in your 7th house, this release clears space for healthier connections. You may let go of unrealistic expectations or self-sacrificing tendencies. Emotional maturity deepens. Financially, this transit is constructive. The second lord exalted in the 7th house can bring gains through partnerships or client-based work. Business agreements signed after Mercury turns direct may prove beneficial. Saturn ensures disciplined financial planning, while Venus adds charm and negotiation skills. Family support may also play a positive role in professional growth. Professionally, the 7th house rules public dealings and business alliances. Exalted Venus here enhances your reputation as fair, diplomatic, and reliable. Clients may respond favorably to your approach. If you are in fields related to consulting, law, counseling, hospitality, or design, this transit can bring visible improvement in workload and recognition. Spiritually, the connection between the 9th lord and the 7th house suggests that relationships themselves become a path of growth. You may learn profound lessons about compromise, empathy, and shared purpose. Partnerships may inspire philosophical reflection and deeper understanding of life's meaning. Overall, this Venus transit is one of the more beneficial phases for Virgo individuals in 2026. Early March may feel reflective due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but the second half of the month brings momentum as Jupiter and Mercury move direct. With Venus exalted in your house of partnerships, supported by Saturn's stability and Jupiter's guidance. Love, financial growth, and professional alliances are strengthened. This is a time to embrace mature commitment, balanced communication, and shared long-term vision. For Libra, Venus is the most personal and influential planet in the chart. It rules the first house of identity, vitality, personality, and overall direction in life, as well as the 8th house of transformation, hidden strength, joint resources, and deep psychological shifts. When your first house lord moves into Pisces, the 6th house, and becomes exalted there, the results require thoughtful interpretation. The 6th house rules work routines, service, health, competition, debts, and problem solving. Although it is traditionally considered a challenging house, an exalted first house lord here can turn obstacles into opportunities for growth and empowerment. Venus in Pisces expresses compassion, refinement, and emotional intelligence at its highest level. For Libra individuals, this transit enhances your ability to handle daily responsibilities with grace. Instead of feeling burdened by work or routine, you may approach tasks with creativity and diplomacy. Relationships with colleagues improve. If there were workplace tensions in previous months, this period offers a chance to smooth misunderstandings. Venus brings harmony, and Saturn's conjunction ensures maturity and responsibility in professional matters. Because Venus rules your first house, its exaltation strengthens your confidence and personal magnetism even within demanding environments. You may feel more composed under pressure. The 6th house represents competition and challenges, and an exalted Venus here suggests victory through tact rather than aggression. You may resolve disputes peacefully or find fair settlements in ongoing conflicts. Legal or contractual issues, if any, can move toward resolution, especially after mid-March when Jupiter turns direct. Venus also rules your 8th house, linking this transit to transformation and shared resources. Financially, this can be a stabilizing period. The 6th house relates to debts and obligations. An exalted Venus can help restructure financial liabilities in a balanced way. You may pay off pending dues or negotiate improved repayment terms. Saturn's presence reinforces discipline, encouraging practical budgeting and long-term financial planning. Joint finances with a partner may also improve through responsible communication. Health matters receive constructive support under this transit. The 6th house rules physical well-being and daily habits. With Venus exalted here, you may feel motivated to adopt healthier routines. Pisces energy supports healing therapies, meditation, and gentle exercise practices. Saturn adds consistency, helping you maintain new habits. If you have been dealing with minor health concerns, gradual improvement is possible through disciplined care. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, the focus on daily responsibilities intensifies but remains manageable. The Sun rules your 11th house of gains, ambitions, and social networks. Its conjunction in the 6th house may bring recognition for your hard work. Colleagues or superiors may appreciate your reliability. While the Sun can sometimes increase ego clashes in workplace environments, Saturn's grounding influence keeps matters professional. You may feel a renewed sense of purpose in serving a larger goal. But Sun and Saturn together can bring stress in these relationships, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is particularly important because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Libra individuals, Jupiter rules the 3rd and 6th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 9th house suggests internal reassessment of beliefs, education, or long-distance plans. You may have been reconsidering how your daily work aligns with your higher values. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity emerges. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its forward motion strengthens positive outcomes. Professional matters, health improvements, and legal issues gain smoother momentum after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds an introspective tone in creative and romantic matters. Mercury rules your 9th and 12th houses. While retrograde, you may reflect on spiritual priorities or travel plans. This reflection prevents impulsive decisions. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, communication with mentors or distant contacts improves, supporting professional and personal growth. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 11th house of friendships and long-term goals. Eclipses bring emotional revelations and closures. For Libra individuals, this eclipse may highlight which social connections truly support your growth. You may distance yourself from draining associations and strengthen bonds with dependable individuals. This emotional clearing aligns well with Venus exalted in the 6th house, as it refines your daily environment and professional circle. Romantically, although the 6th house is not traditionally associated with love, Venus ruling your 1st house ensures that personal charm remains strong. Relationships may deepen through acts of service and practical support. If partnered, you may focus on solving shared challenges together, strengthening trust. Singles may meet someone through work or volunteer settings, especially in healing or service-oriented environments. Professionally, this transit is quietly powerful. Exalted Venus in the 6th house suggests success through consistent effort rather than dramatic breakthroughs. You may win competitive situations by demonstrating fairness and cooperation. Saturn ensures endurance, helping you handle responsibilities without burnout. Spiritually, Pisces energy in the 6th house encourages compassionate service. You may feel inspired to contribute to charitable causes or support others in meaningful ways. The combination of Venus and Saturn promotes grounded spirituality expressed through daily action. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is constructive for Libra individuals. While early March carries reflective energy due to retrogrades and the eclipse, the second half of the month brings steadiness as Jupiter and Mercury move direct. With your 1st house lord exalted in the house of work and problem-solving, challenges become manageable stepping stones. Health improves, finances stabilize, and professional reputation strengthens. This is a period of disciplined grace, where service, maturity, and quiet confidence lead to lasting progress. For Scorpio, Venus is a uniquely important planet. It rules your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, Taurus, and your 12th house of solitude, foreign connections and spiritual retreat, Libra. When that same Venus moves into Pisces, your 5th house of romance, creativity, intelligence, children and speculative enjoyment, and becomes exalted, the transit reads like an invitation to turn private longings into heartfelt creation. Exaltation amplifies Venus's highest gifts: tenderness, artistic refinement, emotional magnetism, and the capacity to love without calculation. Because this Venus is also conjunct Saturn in Pisces during the period you described, the tone is not merely dreamy. It is disciplined, layered, and ready to produce lasting fruit rather than ephemeral pleasure. Think of this month as a time when your emotional imagination gains structure, and your private affections can be shaped into something durable and meaningful. Creativity is the headline. With exalted Venus lighting your 5th house, any artistic pursuit, music, writing, film, design, teaching, or even entrepreneurial marketing that requires a poetic touch, will enjoy a significant boost. You will find ideas arrive with a softer, more refined cadence. You are likelier to favor depth over noise and craft over novelty. Saturn's conjunction means that these creative currents are not simply fleeting inspirations. They want to be honed, scheduled, and delivered. If you've been nursing a creative project in private, a manuscript, a composition, a course, a concept for a channel or portfolio, now is the time to impose the discipline that turns promise into product. The result will be work that carries emotional authenticity and professional reliability, and that combination tends to attract respectful, long-term recognition rather than a short viral spike. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, visibility and confidence increase. The Sun rules your 10th house of career and reputation. Its movement into the 5th house connects professional life with creativity and leadership. You may gain recognition for your talents or take initiative in creative or advisory roles. Romance in the 5th house arena likewise receive a mature, soulful upgrade. An exalted Venus here can bring a deepening of love that feels karmic or fated. Because Venus also rules your 12th, there's a strong possibility of private, secretive, or spiritually tinged relationships, encounters that begin in dreamlike or foreign contexts, or bonds that grow in the quieter spaces of life rather than in public spectacle. Saturn's presence asks for responsibility and commitment. Casual dalliances are less likely to satisfy you now, while relationships that demonstrate steadiness and emotional maturity will flourish. For married Scorpio individuals, tender private time, shared rituals, or travel for two can refresh intimacy. For singles, the person you attract may be older in temperament, spiritually inclined, or connected to foreign cultures or artistic circles. But Sun and Saturn together can bring stress in relationships, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. The financial and speculative angle is worth nuanced attention. The 5th house rules speculative intelligence, skillful bets, creative monetization, intellectual property, and even certain fertility-related gains. Exalted Venus heightens your taste and your ability to monetize creative output. Saturn tempers impulsivity, encouraging careful planning, contracts, and realistic goal setting. Because Venus is also the ruler of your 12th house, income or rewards may come from behind-the-scenes work, foreign clients, digital platforms where your art is quietly consumed, or from projects handled in private that later yield public reward. This is a good transit for investments in quality, equipment, training, and meaningful collaboration, rather than chasing quick gains. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is especially relevant because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. 4. Scorpio individuals, Jupiter rules the 2nd and 5th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 8th house suggests internal reassessment of shared resources, investments, or emotional trust. You may have been reflecting on financial strategies or deeper emotional patterns. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity emerges. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its forward motion strengthens the positive results. Romantic decisions, creative investments, and financial planning become more confident after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds a reflective tone in domestic and emotional matters. Mercury rules your 8th and 11th houses. While retrograde, you may reconsider financial agreements or social alliances. This review period prevents misjudgments. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, communication within family and social circles improves, supporting romantic and creative pursuits. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 10th house of career and public status. Eclipses bring change and revelation. For Scorpio individuals, this eclipse may highlight professional transitions or emotional shifts regarding ambition. You may feel called to align your career with your true creative passions. With exalted Venus in your 5th house, this eclipse can inspire you to pursue work that feels more authentic and emotionally fulfilling. The eclipse may close a chapter related to outdated professional goals, clearing space for a more creative path. The 5th house also rules speculation and investment. With Venus exalted and Jupiter turning direct mid-month, cautious investment decisions can be favorable, especially after careful analysis. Saturn's involvement ensures discipline and discourages impulsive risk-taking. Joint finances or income from creative ventures may improve gradually. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is highly supportive for Scorpio individuals. Early March carries reflective energy due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but the second half of the month brings forward movement as Jupiter and Mercury turn direct. With your 7th Lord exalted in the 5th house, romance deepens, creativity flourishes, and emotional bonds strengthen. Saturn ensures maturity, Jupiter provides wisdom, and Venus brings grace. This is a period of refined love, disciplined creativity, and heartfelt expansion. For Sagittarius, Venus rules the 6th house of work, service, competition, health, and daily responsibilities, and the 11th house of gains, ambitions, social networks, and fulfillment of desires. When such a Venus transits Pisces, your 4th house, and becomes exalted there, the results are both grounding and rewarding. The 4th house represents home, emotional security, property, mother, comfort, and inner peace. An exalted Venus in the 4th house creates a powerful opportunity to harmonize professional effort and financial growth with emotional stability and domestic happiness. Venus in Pisces expresses its highest qualities of compassion, refinement, grace, and devotion. In the 4th house, these qualities directly influence your emotional foundation. You may feel a stronger desire to beautify your living space, invest in comfort, or reconnect with family. There can be a renewed appreciation for home life. If there have been tensions within the household, this transit encourages healing conversations and softer emotional exchanges. Because Venus rules your 11th house, gains may be connected to property matters, real estate, family businesses, or home-based projects. Financially, this is a constructive period. The 11th Lord exalted in the 4th house suggests gains through property, vehicles, or domestic investments. Some Sagittarius individuals may consider purchasing or renovating a home. Others may benefit from family support and financial planning. Venus ruling the 6th house also indicates improvement in workplace conditions, and that professional stability contributes directly to emotional peace. Income earned through consistent effort may now be invested in long-term security. Saturn's conjunction with Venus and Pisces adds seriousness and structure to domestic matters. Saturn in the 4th house can create responsibility toward family or property. With exalted Venus present, this responsibility becomes constructive rather than burdensome. You may take disciplined steps towards securing long-term assets. Planning for stability rather than short-term pleasure becomes a priority. Emotional maturity deepens, and you may feel more grounded in your personal life. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, themes of family and emotional leadership become stronger. The Sun rules your 9th house of fortune, higher learning and guidance. Its presence in the 4th house can bring blessings related to property, relocation or family harmony. You may receive support from elders or mentors in making domestic decisions. This alignment connects your sense of inner security with your broader life philosophy. You may feel more aligned between personal values and external goals. However, but Sun and Saturn together can bring stress, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is especially important because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Sagittarius individuals, Jupiter is your 1st house lord and also rules the 4th house. Its retrograde motion in the 7th house suggests reflection in partnerships and agreements. You may have been reassessing the balance between personal needs and relationship commitments. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity returns. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus in Pisces, its direct motion strengthens the positive effects of this transit. Decisions regarding property, marriage or contracts gain momentum after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds an introspective tone in communication. Mercury rules your 7th and 10th houses. While retrograde, professional discussions or partnership negotiations may require patience. This review phase helps refine agreements. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, communication improves significantly. Conversations regarding property, relocation or business collaboration become clearer and more decisive. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 9th house of beliefs, travel and higher learning. Eclipses bring emotional release and shifts in perspective. For Sagittarius individuals, this eclipse may highlight changes in long-held philosophies or educational goals. You may let go of outdated beliefs that no longer support your growth. With exalted Venus in your 4th house, this emotional clearing allows you to build a stronger inner foundation. The eclipse may inspire you to align your home life more closely with your evolving worldview. Health and daily routines also benefit under this transit. Since Venus rules your 6th house, its exaltation brings smoother management of work responsibilities. You may adopt healthier habits, especially those connected to emotional well-being. Pisces energy supports meditation, gentle exercise, and restorative practices. Saturn ensures consistency, helping you maintain balance between effort and rest. Romantically, this transit can enhance domestic harmony. If married, you and your partner may focus on creating a peaceful home environment. Shared decisions about property or long-term planning strengthen emotional bonds. Singles may meet someone through family connections or domestic gatherings. The tone of relationships becomes nurturing rather than dramatic. Professionally, although Venus is not directly in your career house, the stability created in your personal life indirectly supports professional growth. Emotional security improves concentration and productivity. Gains from the 11th house rulership may manifest as recognition or bonuses connected to steady performance. Spiritually, Pisces energy in the 4th house deepens inner peace. You may feel drawn toward devotional practices at home or creating a sacred space within your living environment. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is supportive and stabilizing for Sagittarius individuals. Early March carries reflective energy due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but the second half of the month brings clarity and forward movement as Jupiter and Mercury turn direct. With exalted Venus in your house of home and emotional security, supported by Saturn's discipline and Jupiter's guidance, this is a period to build lasting foundations. Domestic harmony, financial stability, and emotional maturity are highlighted, allowing you to move forward with confidence and balance. For Capricorn, Venus rules 2 significant houses, the 5th house of creativity, intelligence, romance and merit from past life, and the 10th house of career, status, authority and public reputation. When such a Venus transits Pisces, your 3rd house, and becomes exalted there, the transit becomes both dynamic and promising. The 3rd house represents courage, initiative, communication, skills, marketing, short travels, media and self-effort. An exalted 5th and 10th Lord in the 3rd house creates a powerful connection between creativity, career growth, and personal initiative. This is a period where your ideas, communication style, and efforts can directly shape your professional and romantic outcomes. Venus in Pisces expresses refined imagination, compassion, artistic sensitivity, and emotional intelligence. In the 3rd house, this energy enhances your communication style. You may find that your words carry more charm and persuasive ability. Whether in professional presentations, social media engagement, writing, teaching, or negotiations, your expression becomes softer yet impactful. Because Venus rules your 10th house, career advancement may depend strongly on how effectively you communicate and take initiative during this period. This is an excellent time for public relations, branding, creative campaigns, or launching new ideas. Since Venus also rules your 5th house, creativity becomes the bridge between personal inspiration and professional recognition. If you work in artistic, consulting, advisory, or leadership roles, this transit can bring visibility. You may feel motivated to showcase your talents more openly. The 3rd house rewards courage. An exalted Venus encourages you to express your ideas without fear. Projects related to media, content creation, performance, design, or teaching can flourish under this influence. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds seriousness and durability to your efforts. As Capricorn individuals, Saturn is your 1st house lord, so its presence in the 3rd house strengthens discipline in communication and skill development. While Saturn can slow down immediate results, it ensures that what you build now has long-term impact. You may take structured steps toward learning a new skill or refining an existing one. Collaborative projects with siblings, colleagues, or close contacts can become more stable and productive. Saturn grounds Venus's creativity, allowing imagination to turn into practical achievement. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, confidence and visibility increase. The Sun rules your 8th house of transformation and hidden strength. Its entry into the 3rd house can bring boldness in expressing ideas that were previously kept private. This is a powerful time for strategic communication. You may take initiative in matters that require courage, such as launching a new venture or initiating important conversations. The combination of Sun, Saturn, and exalted Venus creates leadership through wisdom rather than force. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th plays a key role because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Capricorn individuals, Jupiter rules the 3rd and 12th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 6th house suggests internal reassessment of work routines, health habits, and competitive situations. You may have been reflecting on how daily responsibilities align with your broader ambitions. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity returns. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its direct motion strengthens positive outcomes. Efforts made in communication, marketing, or networking begin to show clearer progress after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds a reflective tone in financial matters. Mercury rules your 6th and 9th houses. While retrograde, travel plans, legal discussions, or financial negotiations may require patience. This review period prevents careless decisions. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, conversations regarding contracts, education, or international opportunities move forward smoothly. The clarity gained from reflection strengthens your decision-making. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 8th house of shared resources, emotional depth, and transformation. Eclipses bring endings and revelations. For Capricorn individuals, this eclipse may highlight financial restructuring or emotional release. You may let go of outdated financial dependencies or fears around vulnerability. With exalted Venus in your 3rd house, this emotional clearing empowers you to communicate more confidently and take initiative in career matters. The eclipse acts as a catalyst for strategic renewal. Romantically, Venus ruling your 5th house and exalted in the 3rd suggests flirtation, communication, and bonding through conversation. If single, you may meet someone through short travels, social platforms, or professional interactions. Intellectual compatibility becomes important. If in a relationship, communication improves and shared creative activities strengthen the bond. Saturn ensures maturity, making discussions serious and purposeful rather than superficial. Professionally, this transit can be quietly transformative. The 10th Lord exalted in the 3rd house emphasizes self-made progress. Rather than relying solely on authority figures, you take active steps toward growth. Networking, marketing, writing and strategic outreach become powerful tools. After Jupiter turns direct, opportunities connected to communication or advisory roles gain momentum. Spiritually, Pisces energy in the third house encourages compassionate dialogue and mindful speech. You may feel inspired to express deeper truths or explore spiritual learning through reading and discussion. Saturn adds discipline, helping you integrate insights into daily life. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is constructive and empowering for Capricorn individuals. Early March carries reflective energy due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but the second half of the month brings forward movement and confidence as Jupiter and Mercury turn direct. With exalted Venus linking creativity and career to communication and initiative, this is a time to speak with grace, act with courage, and build long-term success through disciplined effort. For Aquarius, Venus is a highly auspicious planet because it rules both the fourth house of home, emotional security, property and inner peace, and the ninth house of fortune, higher wisdom, blessings and long-distance opportunities. When such a Venus transits Pisces, your second house, and becomes exalted there, this creates a powerful dharmic and material alignment. The second house rules accumulated wealth, family values, speech, food habits, and financial stability. An exalted ninth lord placed in the second house forms a strong connection between fortune and finances, while the fourth lord in the second links emotional security directly with material stability. Venus in Pisces expresses its highest qualities of compassion, grace, refinement, and artistic sensitivity. In the second house, this enhances your speech and communication style. You may speak more diplomatically and attractively, which benefits both personal and professional interactions. Family relationships can soften and improve. If there have been misunderstandings within the household, this transit encourages reconciliation and calm discussions. Emotional warmth becomes more visible in your interactions. Financially, this is a constructive period. The ninth lord exalted in the second house suggests gains through fortunate circumstances. Income may increase gradually, especially after mid-March when Jupiter turns direct. Opportunities may arise through teaching, consulting, travel-related work, or guidance from mentors. The fourth house connection indicates that property or real estate matters can also bring financial support. Some Aquarius individuals may consider investing in home improvements or securing assets that strengthen long-term stability. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds seriousness and structure to financial matters. Saturn encourages disciplined savings and practical planning. Rather than impulsive spending, you are more likely to adopt a measured approach toward wealth management. This combination supports long-term security. Family responsibilities may require attention, but Venus ensures harmony in handling them. The presence of Saturn also indicates that wealth gain now can have lasting value rather than being temporary. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, themes of confidence and authority become stronger. The Sun rules your seventh house of partnerships and public dealings. Its presence in the second house can bring discussions related to joint finances or business agreements. While the Sun can sometimes intensify ego dynamics, Saturn's grounding influence keeps matters balanced. Business partnerships may strengthen through honest conversations about shared goals. The combination of Sun, Saturn, and exalted Venus suggests maturity and clarity in financial agreements. But Sun and Saturn together can bring stress in family, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th is highly significant because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Aquarius individuals, Jupiter rules the 2nd and 11th houses. Its retrograde motion in the 5th house suggests internal reassessment of creative investments, speculation, or long-term financial strategies. You may have been reconsidering how your talents contribute to income. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity returns. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its forward motion strengthens positive financial and familial outcomes. Gains connected to creative ventures or children may become more visible after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds another layer. Mercury rules your 5th and 8th houses and is retrograde in your 1st house alongside Rahu and Mars. This creates heightened mental activity and intense thinking patterns. You may feel restless or over-analytical. The exalted Venus in your 2nd house acts as a stabilizing force. It softens speech and encourages thoughtful communication despite internal pressure. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, clarity in decision-making improves significantly. Plans regarding investments or creative projects become more structured. The presence of Rahu and Mars in Aquarius during this period intensifies personal drive. Mars increases assertiveness, while Rahu amplifies ambition. Although this can create impatience, exalted Venus in the second house helps you channel this energy productively. Instead of impulsive action, you may use strategic communication and financial planning to advance goals. Venus provides balance, preventing conflicts from escalating. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 7th house of partnerships. Eclipses bring emotional revelations and shifts in relationship dynamics. For Aquarius individuals, this eclipse may highlight adjustments in marriage or business partnerships. You may release outdated expectations or ego conflicts. With exalted Venus in your 2nd house, this emotional clearing ultimately strengthens stability. Financial and family matters can become more harmonious once relationship tensions are addressed. Romantically, this transit supports stability. Venus ruling your 9th house and exalted in the 2nd suggests relationships built on shared values and mutual respect. Married couples may focus on long-term financial planning. Singles may attract someone through family connections or professional networks. Speech and kindness become powerful tools of attraction. Professionally, although Venus is not directly in your career house, financial security enhances confidence in professional decisions. Business negotiations can move favorably after Mercury and Jupiter turn direct. Saturn ensures that agreements are realistic and sustainable. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is stabilizing and prosperous for Aquarius individuals. Early March may feel intense due to Rahu, Mars, and retrograde Mercury in your sign and the eclipse in your partnership house. The second half of the month brings clarity and steadiness as Jupiter and Mercury turn direct. With exalted Venus strengthening your house of wealth and family, supported by Saturn's discipline and Jupiter's guidance, this is a period to build financial security, improve relationships, and align material growth with higher values. For Pisces, Venus rules the 3rd house of courage, communication, skills, and initiative, and the 8th house of transformation, shared resources, research, and deep psychological change. When such a Venus transits your 1st house in Pisces and becomes exalted there, the impact is highly personal and visible. The 1st house represents identity, physical vitality, confidence, direction in life, and how the world perceives you. An exalted planet in the 1st house radiates strongly through personality and aura. In your case, Venus brings grace, charm, artistic sensitivity, and emotional refinement directly into your self-expression. Venus in Pisces expresses unconditional love, compassion, creativity, and spiritual awareness at its highest level. In the 1st house, this enhances attractiveness and magnetism. People may respond more warmly to you during this period. Your presence can feel softer yet more influential. Because Venus rules your 3rd house, communication becomes a major strength. You may speak with greater empathy and persuasive power. If you are involved in writing, media, teaching, or public engagement, this is an excellent period to present your ideas confidently. Venus also rules your 8th house, linking this transit to transformation and shared resources. With exalted Venus in your 1st house, internal changes become visible externally. You may feel more emotionally mature and aware of your deeper motivations. This is a powerful time for personal renewal. If you have been carrying emotional burdens, this transit helps you release them gracefully. Your approach to intimacy and trust can improve, strengthening close relationships. Saturn's conjunction with Venus in Pisces adds seriousness and structure to your personal growth. Saturn in the 1st house encourages responsibility and discipline. While Saturn can sometimes feel heavy, when combined with exalted Venus it creates dignified composure. You may appear more mature and dependable. Decisions made now carry long-term consequences, especially regarding relationships and career direction. Saturn ensures that any transformation initiated during this period is grounded and sustainable. On March 15th, when the Sun joins Venus and Saturn in Pisces, visibility increases further. The Sun rules your 6th house of work, service, competition, and health. Its presence in your 1st house may increase focus on personal productivity and physical well-being. You may feel motivated to improve routines and adopt healthier habits. While the Sun can create temporary ego sensitivity, Saturn's stabilizing influence helps maintain balance. You may step into leadership roles through disciplined self-presentation. But Sun and Saturn together can bring stress, even though exalted Venus there to soften it. Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini until March 11th plays a crucial background role because Jupiter rules Pisces, the sign where Venus is exalted. For Pisces individuals, Jupiter is your first house lord and also rules the 10th house of career. Its retrograde motion in the 4th house suggests internal reflection on home life, emotional security, and long-term stability. You may have been reassessing your foundation and personal priorities. As Jupiter turns direct on March 11th, clarity returns. Because Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus during this transit, its direct motion strengthens positive outcomes. Professional direction becomes clearer, and personal confidence increases after mid-March. The simultaneous retrograde of Mercury in Aquarius during early March adds an introspective tone. Mercury rules your 4th and 7th houses and is retrograde in your 12th house alongside Rahu and Mars. This can create subconscious restlessness and overthinking. You may revisit past relationship patterns or domestic concerns. Exalted Venus in your 1st house provides emotional steadiness. Once Mercury turns direct on March 21st, communication within partnerships improves. Clarity replaces confusion, especially regarding agreements and commitments. Rahu and Mars in Aquarius during this period intensifies subconscious drives. Mars increases assertiveness, while Rahu amplifies hidden ambitions. This combination in your 12th house can bring escapism or strong internal motivations. Exalted Venus in your 1st house acts as a calming influence, helping you channel these impulses constructively. The lunar eclipse in Leo on March 3rd activates your 6th house of work and health. Eclipses bring adjustments and emotional release. For Pisces individuals, this eclipse may highlight changes in daily routines or professional responsibilities. You may let go of inefficient habits or unhealthy work patterns. With Venus exalted in your 1st house, this clearing process ultimately enhances vitality. You may feel lighter and more focused after addressing these issues. Romantically, this transit can be quite favorable. Venus exalted in your 1st house increases personal charm. Others may find you more attractive and approachable. Since Venus rules your 8th house, intimacy deepens naturally. Existing relationships may grow stronger through honest communication and emotional vulnerability. Singles may attract partners who are sensitive and spiritually inclined. Financially, while Venus does not directly rule your money houses, its exaltation enhances overall confidence, which indirectly supports career progress. As Jupiter turns direct and strengthens professional clarity, opportunities for advancement can appear. Saturn ensures disciplined effort in pursuing them. Spiritually, this is a deeply enriching phase. Pisces energy in the 1st house heightens intuition and compassion. You may feel drawn to meditation, artistic expression, or devotional practices. Saturn helps transform inspiration into consistent practice. Overall, this Venus transit in Pisces is empowering for Pisces individuals. Early March may feel reflective due to retrogrades and the eclipse, but the second half of the month brings clarity and renewed confidence as Jupiter and Mercury turn direct. With exalted Venus in your 1st house, supported by Saturn's maturity and Jupiter's guidance, this is a period of personal refinement, strengthened relationships, and steady progress grounded in emotional wisdom. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions. The real impact depends on your dasha cycles and your individual birth chart. For a personalized analysis or consultation, feel free to reach out. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now, you can also hype this video to boost it within the community. Your support helps this knowledge reach more people who may benefit. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.